Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to the second race of the Bloodborne tournament for 2021. I'm a Hattie, and I'm going to be commentating. And today we have Curious Peanut and DonnyRekt. They're doing their race, so it should be a good one. And we'll get rolling as soon as those guys are ready. So if you guys just want to let me know when you're ready, and I can count you guys in.
Ready.
Ready? All right. Donnie? He can't hear me.
Yeah, I'm good. Let's go.
All right. All right. 3, 2, 1, go! I have a little bit of delay on Khadgar, so it's going to be kind of scuffed, but I'll do my best. So they both picked military veteran, you'll notice, because that's just the best. That's the best subclass for strength and skill, and they're going to be using the saw cleaver, best weapon in Bloodborne. So should be fun. Started the runs pretty slow, but once you get to the first boss, things start picking up. Running their way through the clinic. This wolf can cause some issues occasionally. Looks like they both got past him there. That's kind of the worst spot, so in that first door. Wolf is trailing Peanut a little bit. They both got past with minor issue. Both have PS5, so they're both running on PS5. So it should be pretty even as far as RTA goes. So I'm not sure if Donnie's going to grab the threaded cane. I know Peanut's not, so we might see some differences with Orphanage key skip. No, they're both skipping. They're both skipping the threaded cane. So they're both going to do the extended saw cleaver Orphanage key skip, which is a little harder, but it's also pretty cool. And this should be a lot more enjoyable to watch because PS5 has faster loading screens than both PS4 Pro and PS4 Slim, obviously. So the race is going to go by much faster, and the load screens are going to be a little quicker. They're both approaching the first skip in the run now. It's going to be sewer skip. See if any of them are going to go for the plunge. You got to go for it in the race. You just have to. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we like to see. So that plunge, it doesn't save a whole lot of in-game time, so it's not really going to affect the race all that much. It's just cool to see. But we will see kind of the limitation of doing Bloodborne tourneys, because now Donnie's loading screen behind, but he's not actually that far behind in-game time, so. And then here we have a huge reset point with Father Gascoigne. Peanut's gonna do some fancy backstabs. Makes the fight like much more enjoyable in my opinion, but it's also pretty difficult to backstab Gascoigne because he rotates pretty quick. Unlike Orphan, Orphan's pretty easy to backstab. So yeah, I'd say Gascoigne is one of the hardest fights in the run for sure. Got the double damage Molotov off. And only gonna be a couple more hits. And Gascoigne is done for 1. We got 1 more Gascoigne to go. Nice backstab. It's gonna get the double damage. And looks like this Gascoigne fight's wrapped up too, so that's nice. No early deaths. Good job, guys. And now both of them are gonna grab the Blood Gem Workshop for the Hunter's Dream. And what that's gonna let them do is slot Blood Gems. And a couple of them are gonna seem like they're pretty far out of the way. But for 18% damage boost, it's definitely worth it. So Peanut's grabbing the Hunter's set. That's going to give you more Beasthood, actually. So you'd think that grabbing a different armor set would be more for defense, but it actually is pretty significant offensive boost in Bloodborne to grab armor with better Beasthood. Yeah, I know the game pretty well. I played it a couple times. For sure. And here's another thing where you'd think it would waste time to grab fire paper here from Alfred. But if you've tried to fight BSV and Amelia both without fire paper, you'd see how much time this actually saves. Because fire paper is a flat damage boost, whereas Beast Blood pellets are a percentage damage boost. And a flat damage boost is going to be more useful at the start of the run where you have less stats. And it gets progressively less useful as the run goes on. And now we're entering one of the most difficult areas in the game to just navigate to get to the boss. This is Old Yarnum. Donnie did a quit out there. Again, quit outs are not counted towards this race. So it might look that Donnie's pretty far behind, but he is actually pretty much neck and neck right now. And they're both on PS5, so the RTA should be fairly similar. And you saw Peanut execute the Old Yarnum skip. Pretty cool skip. It's not that difficult, but it's pretty punishing to fail. Donnie's grabbing the lamp just for a bit of safety. Gonna watch Donnie go for the... That's really sick. I like that version of the skip where he just runs off. Perfectly executed there. And now Peanut's going for the Blood Cocktail strat on Bloodstarved Beast. The strat is really cool. Discovered by some Canadian guy. And it makes the fight really consistent. So there we go. Takes down Bloodstarved Beast. Just one more backstab. And he's going to use a regular Hunter's Mark here, which is the one that gets rid of your echoes. And you'd think that that would be not a great idea because he just lost like 10,000 echoes, but saving those 2 Bold Hunter marks for other instances where you'd have more echoes is a lot more advantageous. And Donnie's going to do the same strat on BSB here. I have no idea, Deep Planet. It's a mystery. So I think Donnie used all 3 cocktails there. Not a huge deal. He's just going to have to do an extra quit out. Or maybe he didn't. I didn't see. But takes him down nonetheless. And Peanut's going to go here into the abandoned old workshop because he needs the 1/3 of umbilical cord. You need 3 of those to fight the true final boss of Bloodborne. And sitting down there is actually a strat. So he's trying to lose time on purpose to give Donnie a little bit of an advantage. So very nice of Peanut. And making our way up to the 3rd boss. So they're both headed to Vicar Amelia. And Amelia, I don't know, a lot of people seem to think Amelia is quite an easy boss casually, but personally I struggled a lot with Vicar Amelia. But you'll notice in the speedrun they do a strategy that makes it 100% consistent, so she will always do the same moves. So they know exactly how to punish and where to break. And that'll just make the fight a breeze. So again, it looks like Donnie is quite far behind, but they're actually pretty close because he's had a couple of extra quit outs. So we might even see them kind of get a little closer together if Peanut has a couple of quit outs. So that'll be interesting to see. I don't think I touched on when Peanut did ladder warp, so we'll wait until Donnie gets there and then we'll talk about that. So this is the strategy I was talking about that Peanut's doing here on Vicar Amelia. Pretty cool strat. The one he's doing was discovered by QTT6. And I'm not sure if Donnie's going to do the new strat that was discovered by this hex. So pretty cool. Takes down Vicar Amelia with ease. And he's going to take off 1 article of clothing, so that lets him get one shot by an enemy later that he wants to die to. And again, I didn't touch on the ladder warp, but both of them did a glitch called ladder warp, where you store the climbing animation of a ladder by canceling it with some other animation. And that lets it keep that ladder climbing state for when you're running around. And then when you quit out, you'll actually spawn back at the ladder. That's just a property of ladders in Bloodborne. When you're climbing them, it spawns you at the bottom, or where you started climbing. So we'll see if Donnie does the other strat here. So he did the other strat. Little bit of a hiccup there, but got her down. And Peanut is now entering the Forbidden Woods. So you'll notice how quickly that you actually get to the Forbidden Woods in the speedrun. But we're actually going to go back and go fight a different boss in a different area. Because it lets us get a different buff. Lets us get a new type of buff called Bolt Paper. And it's also a little bit faster because you actually get to the boss faster. It's a later game area that you can access a little bit earlier by dying to a specific type of enemy. And you'll see why they picked up the doll clothes in the abandoned workshop, because when you sell them, you get 35,000 echoes. and that's going to let them get a ton of levels early on. Also, you'll notice that wider is pretty cool. So you'll see he slotted 2 blood gems there, and that was the workshop tool he grabbed right after Gascoigne. And he's going to level up strength and skill. So yeah, that's the strat. You want to pump as much strength and skill as possible. Because that's your damage. That's your DPS. Both of them pretty clean so far. We'll see how Peanut goes here. It'd be a shame if he ran into a corner and died. What? I don't even know how that's possible. How did I predict that? Insane. So, Peanut, little hiccup there. Hopefully that doesn't cost him too much. So when you die in Bloodborne to that specific enemy that he died to, it takes you to a later game area, but you're restricted to where you can go. However, there is a boss you can fight earlier than you would normally be able to by doing this. So, and this boss specifically gives you access to bolt paper. Very nice buff. Yeah, they're both playing on PS5. Donnie just has a couple of extra quit outs right now. That's the only difference so far. This is another strategy discovered by this Hex on Dark Beast Parl that saves a little bit more time over the old strat we were doing with breaking every leg. So this strat only breaks 2 legs and doesn't do a visceral. Very nice strat. So the reason Donnie quit out more is because Peanut got the sewer skip with a plunge attack, which is just a little strategy that saves a couple seconds, so it's not a big deal. And then Donnie quit out before the dogs on his way to Old Yarnum, so that just saves a little bit of a headache if they can block you in the doorway. Yeah, the extra loading screen for the Old Yarnum lamp as well, because Donnie grabbed that lamp for a little bit of safety. And I think Donnie is going to do the very cool Shadows AI freeze, and Peanut's going to fight them. So you'll see a couple of differences there, and that's pretty cool when you get to see different strategies in the same race. So Donnie's doing that same Dark Beast Parl strat again. Takes him down really easily. Nice job. And Peanut's going to make his way through the Forbidden Woods. It's a pretty confusing area, but you can actually get through it quite quickly if you know where to go. Basically, the entire area kind of spirals downwards towards the boss fight. So if you just keep following the path that's going downwards, the downward slope, eventually you'll make your way to the boss fight. So I think we'll see Peanut going for the Shadows fight versus the freeze. And this is one of the reasons why you'd kill Dark Beast Parl early, because you'll see that Peanut actually has Bolt Paper now. He bought that from the shop. So he's going to use that, and that's going to do not as significant of a damage boost as it was for Bloodstarved Beast and Vicar Amelia, but it's still fairly significant. Very nice. Nice parry. Ooh. Sick fight. Very good. And now this last shadow, you can AI loop him like this, where you just do one hit at a time and he keeps sidestepping. Excellent fight. And he's going to grab this lamp for safety. There is absolutely no reason to skip that lamp in a race. There's no reason. There's so many ways you can die in the Bergenworth that and that lamp is right in the way, so it's definitely worth grabbing. And here you'll see Donnie is doing the freeze, the Shadows AI freeze. So this is a cool strat that was discovered by Giant Cookie Jar. So he's going to basically try to enter the fight from out of bounds. Perfect jump, very nice. He's going to try to enter the fight from out of bounds. And Bloodborne and Dark Souls games have a very interesting property where the fight is only activated when you actually go through the fog gate if you die to a boss. The first time you enter a boss fight, it doesn't have a fog gate, so the fight just activates. And then the second time you enter, the boss is already there, but there's a fog gate. So he enters from out of bounds, so they never actually activate the Shadows of Yharnam. And you can just beat him down. And then Peanut is doing the spider boss, Rom. So a very cool strat there where Rom doesn't even move, basically, because the way the Rom fight works is she has a different threshold for stagger on each side of her body. So the left side of her body has a stagger threshold, and the right side of her body has a stagger threshold. So he builds up meter on one side of her body and then does a charged R2 on the other side to cause that stagger, and that keeps Rom around without teleporting for a longer time. So he can just do a lot of damage while Rom is just standing there. And Peanut's going to run through Yahargul. So this is actually the area I was talking about earlier. This is where he fought Dark Beast Parl. But now he's not restricted. So after killing Rom, this area is completely open. So now he can move on to the next boss. Grabbing some Bloodstone chunks. So that's the next upgrade material he needs. He already grabbed all the twin Bloodstone shards that he needs in the Forbidden Woods. And he bought the single Bloodstone shards after he killed Vicar Amelia. Both of them taking out the spiders on Rom. There is a faster strat where you don't kill the spiders, but it's much less consistent. And Peanut just did a really cool skip called Yahargul skip, where you just, for some reason, this fence has like some interesting collision where it does block you, but if you have enough speed or if you run at it at the right angle, you can just go right through the fence. That saves a significant amount of time. And normally you'd grab the armor set on the carriage there if you didn't grab this armor set that both of them are using, and you'd grab this this hunter's set. You'd grab it a little bit later when they go to the DLC. 2 1 cycles, yeah, pretty rare. Both of them very, very clean runs so far. It's gonna be a good race. This is a pretty difficult area to run through. You've got to run on sort of a zigzag to avoid getting hit by these like blood bullets that the big monsters there are firing. And here we got one reborn. One of the easier fights in the game, but it can also go poorly very quickly. As you can see. Okay, he got that stagger. That one is the one that can cause a lot of fights to end very quickly. Is that third stagger? So once you get that, you're pretty much home free. So it takes down one reborn with relative ease. Lots of fireballs, but managed to get through. So good job there. Donnie is also making his way through Yahargul now. He's doing a cool strat that was found by Proflow, where if you don't get the charged R2 immediately, you actually can do this backup strat. And it's surprisingly consistent for how like convoluted the setup is. It's not that convoluted. It's like an extra 2 setups or like a backstep setup. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And it just lines you up perfectly to fall through the fence. It's such a cool setup. Both runners still relatively even. Donnie's had like a couple of extra quit outs. I think he turned up his volume there so that he can hear the blood bullets behind him, I think, while he's trying to dodge the coffins. Peanut is now picking up his last, or not his last, his second last upgrade material here for his weapon. So he's going to be able to get a +8, not quite a +9 yet. And then they'll both max out their weapons right before they go to the DLC. So Peanut's just grabbing some more levels, and Donnie is now entering the One Reborn fight. So we'll see how this goes. Good opener. No fireballs. Well, 1 fireball. And the good thing about One Reborn is you can actually build up a lot of rally off of him. So if you can avoid healing, it's quite a bit better. Because you saw Donnie got hit by that splat there, that body drop. But he was able to regain most, if not all, of his health just by hitting the boss right after getting hit. Both pretty clean One Reborns. Peanut had a few hiccups. And it doesn't look like there are any enemies following Peanut, so that's pretty good. This is one spot that's kind of annoying with those enemies behind you can chase you. And they both actually grab that lamp in the lecture hall where Donnie is running through right now, because they're going to go back there for another boss. It's a little bit faster to fight that boss later because you can get more upgrades. That's kind of the general theme of this run is you want to do as much optional content as possible later in the run because then you have the most levels. And you only do the stuff that you absolutely need to do to progress in the game. Peanut making it through Mensis relatively cleanly. Not sure if he's going to grab the elevator here. Looks like he's going for the elevator shortcut. Good choice. Doesn't lose that much time and just saves you a whole lot of headache if you die to Mikolash. So Peanut's going to do a pretty cool strat. I think this one was also discovered by Hex. I could be wrong. The gunshot strat. So the way Mikolash works is while he's running to the last destination of whatever phase he's in, so that's the room where you're supposed to fight him, if you hit him 3 times, he'll just stop going towards that area. And that was scary. That was pretty scary. The puppets can be awful occasionally. And by occasionally, I mean always. But yeah, if you hit Mikolash 3 times while he's running to his final destination, he'll just stop running and turn around and start fighting you. So that saves quite a bit of time. It also saves quite a bit of headache because Mikolash, in his last room there in Phase 1, has a couple of puppets with him. So if you don't do that strat, you have to fight Mikolash while he's surrounded by 2 puppets. And that can be quite scary. And he's going to do another cool strat where he drops on top of Mikolash and does a plunging attack, and that'll stop him from running into the second room. Bit of a hiccup there, so he just rolled a little bit too far forward. Not a huge deal. He's going to run and basically do the fight as intended. Not that huge of an issue because now he doesn't have to deal with puppets, which is very nice. Because occasionally you'll have to deal with puppets because... Oh no! He got counter hit by the tentacle attack. Good thing he grabbed that shortcut though. Remember when I was talking about that shortcut? And how 4 seconds can avoid losing minutes? Yeah, that's why. That's why that's good. So I think what he's going to do probably is go through the woods early now, after he kills Mikolash, because that way he's not going to have to grab the extra pellet there. Still, not a very bad death when you grab that shortcut. If you don't grab that shortcut, this death is one of the worst in the entire game. It loses like 3.5 minutes or something crazy, so... What? Okay. Unscripted, boys. This is Bloodborne. So Donnie is now taking out both puppets just for a little safety, and he's gonna start chipping away at Mikolash. Mikolash has a lot of health, like probably just of all the bosses that you fight in the game. he probably would take the longest. If you had like all the bosses just standing there, I think Mikolash probably takes the longest to just chip away at least with the stats you have right now. Or maybe Wet Nurse. Wet Nurse has a ton of health too. Alright, so he's taking that shortcut up. Still probably lost like not even half the amount of time you'd lose if you didn't grab that shortcut, so he's in good shape. Donnie getting the plunge on Mikolash. Oh, he almost got through. Oh, he did get through. No! Okay. So they're going to have to both fight Meek. Well, I guess Peanut doesn't have to if he gets the plunge this time, but Donnie's going to have to fight him in his intended room as well. Mikolash is not having it today. Yeah, the real winner of this race is Mikolash. Oh my god. We almost had a double tentacle situation. Oh no! At least he killed him! Oh no! No! Mikolash is like on a mission today. Absolutely atrocious.
No, man.
Probably didn't count. Are you sure? Did he die too fast? The death of Miko takes a while. Oh no, maybe it didn't count. Yeah, they both got the shortcut, so that's good. Peanut getting the plunge as well, very nice. Oh, they both had the meme where Mikolash will just run past you if you miss the transform attack. The domino effect of Mikolash. I'm sorry I jinxed it, guys. It's my bad. So Peanut's saving that one pellet. He could have used it here, but he's going to save it because that way he can fight Wet Nurse without going back to the woods. A clean, not alive Mikolash. Excellent. And yes, Donnie's Mikolash fight did not count, so that's strange because I feel like I've traded to Mikolash in a race and had it count. So that's interesting. I guess his death does just take a while. So Donnie is actually doing the one pellet Mikolash strat, where you eat the pellet in the middle of the combo, and that lets you save the pellet, or basically just use one pellet for the entire fight. Loses a tiny bit of time. Loses about 3 seconds, but it's much better than having to go through the woods early. Oh, can you skip the dialogue while you're dying? That might be the reason why the fight didn't count. Getting the plunge again, very nice. So you can see Donnie actually blocked him in the doorway. That's the goal of this strat. So that's what they were both trying to do. And that way you can kill him outside of that room, and it saves a ton of time. Gonna go back in for his echoes. Nice read there by Peanut, seeing that he had to strafe that attack. Normally you won't have to. Grabs that blood gem that I was talking about earlier that saves a ton of time later in the run, but you lose a bit of time grabbing it because it increases your damage output by 18%. So you basically have that gem for every boss after Wet Nurse. So it just saves time. It adds up pretty quickly. Both past Mikolash. Still a dead heat. It's pretty crazy how, like, they both died to the same thing, so they're still pretty much neck and neck. Peanut using a blue elixir. It makes your character have, like, sort of a transparent effect on, and that makes it so enemies can't see you as easily. They don't see you until you're basically right in front of them. And that lets you run through this area pretty easily. He's going to use that last elixir he has. He's going to use that one a little bit later in the DLC. And here we go with Murgo's Wet Nurse. Getting the Yikes opener, as I like to call it. Very cool. Wet Nurse is a pretty standard boss fight. You just have to, like, walk behind her and just do basically any amount of hits. Like, her attacks are really, really telegraphed, and they have a huge wind-up. So you can basically just walk behind her and do hits forever. And he got, like, super good RNG there. Pretty good fight. One teleport's not great, but pretty good attacks. Taking Wet Nurse down with pretty relative ease. And here goes Donnie for the same fight. Donnie getting a better opener. The teleports are not being kind to either runner at the moment. So Peanut's going to do his last level up here. See, it's not a huge deal that he lost those echoes because it's only 2 levels. He only lost 2 levels. So normally you'd get 44 strength. And he got 42. So it's not going to affect any of the strategies. Still going to be able to do the run. Donnie taking down Wet Nurse as well. Pretty nice fight. He can get those levels back later, but it's not worth it for sure for 2 levels. Pretty much, as long as you can get at least 41 strength, it's not worth leveling up anymore. The only reason we get 44 is just because it's kind of available for us. Saves maybe a hit worth of time. Peanut going for the very cool cave skip found by this hex. Yeah, good choice. So he was kind of a little iffy on his setup there. So he just slowed down and fixed it. So, oh wait, Peanut's actually going through the woods early. I don't think he went to Amygdala yet. So we're having a little bit of a deviation here where Donnie is going to kill Amygdala by doing the lecture hall skip there to save a little bit of time. And you'll see Donnie doing a very cool skip called Nightmare Frontier Skip, also found by this hex. You'll notice that this hex found a lot of things in Bloodborne. This setup in particular was... Oh no, wait, was it found by hex? I'm getting mixed up. No, this one was found by Cookie. Cookie found the Nightmare Frontier Skip with the quit out, I think. And then Dank Oyster found a setup for this gesture setup for where you fall down like that. But yeah, Cookie found the setup for doing Nightmare Frontier Skip without doing the insanely precise plunging attack thing off the wall. And you'll see Peanuts just running through to grab a couple of items. And Donnie's going to do Amygdala. This fight is very, very fast and easy, especially with the stats you have right now. Takes him down very quickly. No issues. Doesn't even move. And what Peanut grabbed, he grabbed the Canehurst summon, so that's going to let him go to a kind of a mid-game area, I'd say. But he's going to go there at the end to kind of clean up some last-minute optional bosses. So again, that's pretty much woohoo! Cheering for death. Excellent. That was also a strategy where you got to go do a gesture before picking up the cord there. If you don't do that gesture before picking up the cord, bad things happen. It's definitely a super intended strategy. Yeah, it definitely saves time. Not as much time as in Duratize's 360 no-scope. So now Peanut is going through to kill Amygdala. So he actually didn't lose any, or a very small amount, if any, time going to the woods early. The reason he did that is because he wanted to grab pellets. Because he didn't have any pellets for this boss, but now he does, because he picked up the extra ones in the Forbidden Woods. Both getting past Lecture Hall Skip fairly easily. So they basically just switched segments. So Donnie did the Amygdala segment first, whereas Peanut did the Forbidden Woods segment there first. So they're still pretty much neck and neck. These are the best races when it's close all the way through. Peanut going for the Nightmare Frontier Skip as well. Lots of ladders, of course. Not sure how structurally sound a ladder that tall would be, but, you know, it's a video game. I don't think I'd trust a wooden ladder that's that tall. That was frightening because there's like a silver beast right there where Peanut landed and got the hard fall. Usually if you get a hard fall there, or occasionally if you get a hard fall there, the silver beast will just jump and punch you in the back of the head. So Peanut's using a bolt paper here. Doing a little bit of an older strat, so the strategy he did there was because, was doing the charged R2 immediately, and that hits Amygdala and staggers it, but it doesn't actually do damage if you hit her too early. So there's like a slightly newer strategy where you wait half a second, you get damage on that first hit. Doesn't save that much time, but it's a pretty cool strat. Lots of gestures, lots of gestures. So, yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, Bloodborne has a motion controlled gesture system, which is just about the stupidest thing that's ever been implemented in a video game. It's quite silly. Okay, both of them heading now to Upper Cathedral Ward. So they grabbed this key in Yahargul back when they were fighting One Reborn, or before they fought One Reborn. And that's actually going to let them go to a little secret area at the top here, the top of this tower. And it's called Upper Cathedral Ward for 2 optional bosses. They're both kind of in the... They've finished all the mandatory bosses now, so they're kind of in the optional boss rush, as I like to call it, where they just go from area to area, taking care of all the optional bosses. And after this will be the DLC. And I feel like their loading screens have probably lined up by now, their RTA, because Peanut had a couple of extra quit outs, I think, and also the load screens from the deaths, so I think they're probably fairly close at this point, as far as RTA goes. Donnie might still be like 1 load screen behind or something. We're counting IGT for this, just to make it fair for everybody. Peanut going for the extended saw cleaver orphanage key skip. Gets it, but because he missed that first... Oh, yeah, he got the running. I'm not sure why he's not dead. Oh, because he has 42 strength. Anyway, that's the very cool strat. I'm fairly certain that was actually the first way that orphanage key skip was discovered, was that you could hit that enemy with the extended saw cleaver. But then we kind of transitioned over to using the threaded cane by using a glitch to get 2 weapons at the start of the run, because the threaded cane has a really far reach, so it's a lot easier to do. But yeah, now we've decided to switch over to this extended saw cleaver version, which saves a couple seconds. Most of the time it saves actually comes from the fact that you're just not picking up the threaded cane. It's pretty similar speed to using the threaded cane for the skip. Oh my goodness. That was unfortunate. He didn't quite one-shot that one Celestial Emissary on the left there. And then he just did a little swing there. Probably one of the scariest fights in the run. For it being probably the like easiest fight casually, or one of the easiest fights casually, it's a pretty scary fight in the run because of how much damage they do and how little HP you have. Donnie's having a little bit of trouble with the orphanage key skip. This is one of the issues you can have with the saw cleaver version, because the threaded cane, because it has such a far reach, you can actually get away with a couple of extra jumping attacks if the enemy isn't that nice. But you don't have that luxury with using the saw cleaver. Peanut almost ran down the elevator shaft there. Having a pretty typical Bloodborne race. Love it. Love it. Lots of memes. That's a pretty good attack, Zaz. I like that attack. Alright, you got this, Donnie. I think he's spending just a tiny bit too long in the corner. It can cause some issues with the brain sucker. It's pretty easy to not line it up fast enough. Peanut's grabbing the lamp just in case. Quite a lead in the loading screens now. Yeah, Donnie's had a several loading screens now. There we go. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Doing the orphanage key skip. Few issues, but got her done. First try, of course, every time. Peanut's gonna open this shortcut so he can take advantage of that lamp that he grabbed there. And Celestial Emissary from the Fog Gate is actually quite a bit worse because they're already running at you. Like as soon as you land, like as soon as he lands down, they're gonna start running at him. As you can see, it's actually pretty frightening. Gets it done, very nice. There is a strategy called YOLO Emissary. Not quite as true to its name as YOLO ROM. YOLO ROM is quite a bit more kind of all or nothing. You kind of get it or you don't. There's not really any in between. The in between results in death. So, but YOLO Emissary is a lot more consistent. Doesn't save nearly as much time though. And this boss, if you've ever played Bloodborne casually, this is going to cause you some severe anger. It's going to make you pretty upset at how quickly they destroy this boss. I'm not sure what happened there. I kind of blanked for a second, but yeah. It was interesting. Please. Okay, thank God. Did I jinx it? Okay, it looks like Donnie killed Ebrightus. I was kind of concerned because it seemed like he went. I was looking at Peanut's screen and it seemed like Donnie went almost too fast. I didn't really think he killed. I thought he died, but I think yeah, he got her. Yeah, second attempt is a little more concerning. But first attempt is pretty easy. Even if you have some mistakes. Another gesture. Not having it today. Not having it today, boys. But yeah, the first attempt, even if you have some issues, like it's still fairly good. Like you don't have to do it perfectly. Is Peanut playing on a rocking chair? I'm not sure. I hope not. We're not doing the Chalice dungeons, so it's just the base Bloodborne game with all the optional bosses plus the DLC. Yeah, it's all community decided bosses is what the category is going to be renamed to. Some bosses. We have no. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna call any percent some bosses, and we're gonna call all bosses more bosses. Hope you guys enjoy that. I think that's pretty good. It's a good compromise. Yeah, all boss or sorry, some bosses, more bosses, and most bosses. That's what the categories are going to be called because even all achievements doesn't kill all the bosses. And you'll notice they just destroyed like what is supposed to be kind of the tutorial boss of Bloodborne because for some reason you can just skip it. Like without even doing any glitches, you can just straight up skip Cleric Beast. It's an optional boss. Fake tutorial, yeah. Optional tutorials, love those. So I think did Peanut not go to the did he go to Cleric Beast before he went? Oh, because of the lamp. I see what he's doing. Okay. So Peanut's going to have an extra warp actually here, I think.
I messed up my insight and I can't buy the Blood Rock. That's why I'm all messed up.
Oh, I see. Well, I think you should still dump it though, because you're gonna have some issues with Beast Meter. +9 DLC. It's not as bad as you might think. It's pretty similar. I wasn't expecting Peanut to talk. It kind of scared me a little bit. So they're both making their way through the DLC. There's basically two ways you can do the DLC. You can like grab every lamp or most lamps, and then grab Lawrence's skull at the beginning. And while that's possible to while it's possible to not grab any lamps, it requires you not grabbing Lawrence's skull at the start for it to save any time. So I'm thinking what both of them are going to do is they're going to grab Lawrence's skull right at the start of the DLC, or right after the start of the research hall, and then they're going to grab as many lamps as they want, because that allows them to avoid that extra warp. Pretty sure I just had a stroke on what I just said because I'm fairly certain that made absolutely no sense. BL4 runner doesn't care about upgrade level. Yeah, +9 saw cleaver in the DLC is still like significantly better than BL4. It's basically like the same. So the difference between +9 and +10 is maybe 2 or 3 hits total on the entire DLC, so it's not that big of a deal. This game's story is not hard to understand because it's very little story at all. It's kind of like baked into the lore of the flavor text and some kind of obscure cutscenes, or not obscure, obscure is not the right word, kind of vague cutscenes. So both of them approaching Ludwig. Ludwig, you want to... Oh, he's getting the super secret Canadian opener. No. No. Peanut having a more standard fight here. Welcome to Canada, Donnie. Better than it could have gone, for sure, there. Well, it wasn't clean, but it happened. It worked. And we both got Ludwig down. Very nice. Tell the story about why it's called the Canadian opener. It's called the Canadian opener because I'm Canadian. And the first time I ever saw that happen was when another gesture. Woo! Gestures! Bloodborne. Excellent. Excellent video game. Taking another break. Yeah, Peanut just needed a quick break. So I think is he going back to get plus 10 now? I think that's what he's going to go to. Yeah, the first time I ever saw that Ludwig thing, that weird opener happen was when I think I was doing a race. I don't think it was a real run. I think I was doing a race and Ludwig just did like a 360 and then one-shot me. It was fairly interesting. Yeah, Peanut got another gesture while he was menuing there. It was pretty cool. Thankfully, no stored roll there. So I didn't see if Donnie grabbed the skull. I'm assuming he didn't, because he still has echoes, which would mean he didn't mark out. So I think Donnie's going for the home stretch without grabbing any lamps. And they do a quit out here. It's possible to not quit out, but usually we would have a blue elixir there, or traditionally we would have a blue elixir there, and you would not quit out, but without the blue elixir, you kind of need to quit out to make it consistent enough. We'll see if Peanut elects to do the research hall skip. I'd assume neither of them are going to. Still fairly new. No one is really that practiced with it at the moment. If I'm feeling comfortable enough, Rick, for my race, I'll definitely do the research hall skip. I still haven't practiced it that much though. I'm 100% sure that Romanticore will do it. So Donnie's taking down the living failures right now. They always spawn in the same spot, but not only that, they always spawn in the same order. So as long as there's only one alive at a time, the one that respawns will be in that same spot, so you can just farm damage basically. because they always spawn in the same order. You forgot to get the skull? Uh-oh. That's alright. Not a huge deal. So the reason he quit out there was not because he's trying to splice. The reason he quit out there was to keep his beasthood meter from the failures fight for Maria. Because this is probably the only spot in the entire game where you basically have one boss fight back to, or two boss fights back to back with one another. So quitting out is advantageous to keep your beasthood meter. Very nice fight from both of them. Very good Maria. Very clean. Using backstabs. And Peanut actually has a +10 now, I believe, so he's going to not have the potential issues with +9. +9 is fine, it just occasionally you can have a sliver of health on some bosses where you'd otherwise be fine. Hopefully Maria kept her IKEA receipt for those, the chair and that side table there. That was an ambitious transform attack to finish off Maria there. That was like, that was pretty close. Very clean. So they both have an elixir for Fishing Hamlet. Normally you wouldn't, but having an elixir here makes it very easy and a lot safer. And Donnie grabbed the lamp. Good idea. Grabbing the lamp there is always a good idea in races. Because this next boss has a reputation for being extremely difficult. Casually and also in the speedrun. These guys are pretty seasoned veterans, so we're gonna see some good orphan fights here. Also, when if you die to orphan, not when you die to orphan, the fight stays relatively the same. So it's not too big of a deal, especially since they're both going to grab the lamp here, I think. Whereas there are other fights that if you die, the second go-around can be a little concerning. But Orphan's the same, so... Both doing a skip called Fishing Hamlet skip. We're not very inventive with the names of Bloodborne skips, but yeah, Fishing Hamlet skip, as its name would suggest, skips half of the Fishing Hamlet, goes straight to the Orphan of Kos. And they're both going to do a strategy that doesn't involve freezing Orphan's AI. And it's really cool, so I'll just let these guys focus. You can see he's going for some double backstabs. And the reason he's not going for visceral attacks is because backstabs actually... Uh-oh, I'm going to let him focus here. Oh, he's just going to quit out. So he got the instant lightning there. That's just unfortunate. That's pretty much the only way that Orphan can kill you if you don't make any mistakes. But yeah, the reason they're not going for visceral attacks is because in Bloodborne, a counter hit does, I think it's 1.7x damage. So it's almost double. Almost double the damage from hitting an enemy while they're in a downed, vulnerable state. And visceral attacks don't do nearly that much damage. Especially not with only 25 skill like they have. Perfectly timed backstab from Peanut there for the transform. Oh no. Donnie's just getting canceled by Orphan here. That's unfortunate. Peanut takes down Orphan. Pretty good fight. And he's gonna head over to Lawrence. That's why he grabbed the skull early, because he wanted to grab those extra safety lamps. And if you do that, you can't warp back to grab Lawrence's skull without doing an extra warp. So grabbing the skull early just saves that extra warp. Again, if you don't grab any lamps in the DLC, though, you can avoid that entirely. I'm sorry if you guys heard that car zooming by. That was pretty loud. Perfect. No memes. Gets him down pretty easily. Heading over to the Lawrence fight for Peanut, the last fight of the DLC. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Mario. That was Mario Kart driving by my house. So Lawrence is another one of those fights where it has a consistent strat. But if the strat doesn't work, or if you make a mistake, then the fog gate fight is much worse and different. So Peanut's getting the strat pretty perfectly there. Good job there by Peanut, taking down Lawrence. What is an otherwise fairly difficult fight to do casually, but in the speedrun it can be trivialized by using limb staggers. And this is the home stretch. This is kind of like the final cleanup of optional bosses. So, Peanut is headed to the... I'm blanking on what it's called. Hemwick. The Hemwick to fight Witches of Hemwick. And he's going to... afterwards use that summons, the Canehurst summons that I talked about earlier, where he was going through the Forbidden Woods to grab those. He's going to use those to go fight another boss. Yeah, he's going to do Hemwick skip. This is the Hemwick skip debut. This part is kind of frustrating with these dogs I wish they actually used these dogs more in the game, because they look pretty cool, but they're very annoying. They're not quite the same as the other dogs. Yeah, like that. That can happen. They're not quite the same as the other dogs. They have a different moveset. Donnie going after Lawrence here as well. Pretty textbook execution there. Gets the fall over, but that's okay. Just loses a bit of time. So, like, the advantage of that strat is that you can actually kill him before he falls over. And that saves quite a bit of time, because he has a faster death animation. He has basically the same death animation as Cleric Beast when he's standing up. But after he falls over, he has this super dramatic death animation that takes a lot longer. And here, Peanut actually bought a blue elixir for this area. You'd think it wouldn't save any time, but just from my experience, the amount of time you lose by trying to dodge these dogs when they can actually see you is just not worth the effort. So you might as well just buy the extra elixir so you can run through this area easily. Takes down the Witches of Hemwick very, very easily because they're pretty much an early game fight. Like an early/mid game fight, but he's got end game stats, so he's just absolutely demolishing them. And he's doing a cool skip here, maybe? Oh, he got it, I think. Did he? Anyway, it's a cool skip. If you've seen Dark Souls 3 speedruns, it looks very similar to the Great Wood skip that they do in Dark Souls 3, where they try to quit out in the air in between when the boss dies. So they kind of like jump into the air so that they quit out before the boss dies. Or sorry, they quit out after the boss dies, but they're in the air before it dies. That was a stroke, for sure. And that way you spawn at the beginning. So... Oh, he's not going to go for it this time. So yeah, Peanut quit out a little too early there because the enemy was kind of harassing him, but not a huge deal. Franker Z. So this is the function of those summons that he grabbed in the Forbidden Woods. It makes a carriage spawn outside of the Witches of Hemwick fight, and that takes you to another optional area. One of my personal favorite areas in video games in general. Very, very cool. It's like a big castle in a snowy area. I love it. I like the boss a lot too. Logarius is pretty awesome. Yeah, well, I guess he would be awesome if I could find him. We've got a pretty tight race here. Always good to see. So this area is really cool. It's just such a great level design because it's pretty much all vertical. So the room, like the areas are pretty small, but you're just kind of climbing up a tower. It's very well designed, I think. And you kind of like scale the rooftops to get to the boss. So there is an elevator you can grab there, but I think you have to revoke your Bloodborne speedrunning card if you grab that elevator, unfortunately. If you're not Miko first, you're Miko last. Yikes. This is one of the longest running sections for sure to get to Logarius. But you can see he kind of scales the rooftops. Very cool, actually. This is one of my favorite parts of the game. And you'll see here, I guess you can use the beast runes, right? The beast runes mitigate fall damage, but this is actually one of the points in the run where, unless you have those runes, fall damage is unavoidable, which I find kind of interesting. Like if you were gonna do a no damage run for all bosses, it wouldn't be possible without the beast runes. Pretty textbook Logarius fight from Peanut here. No memes. And now we got the last two bosses. We've got Gehrman and Moon Presence. Gehrman's one of my personal favorite bosses. He's very, very difficult to kill quickly in the speedrun. So we'll see how it goes for both of these guys. Franker Z, indeed. Double backstab opener is pretty sick. Uh-oh. I think he'll kill him here. Get away! Okay, good thing he got away. I think he could have killed him, but yeah, you just want to be safe. Oh no, Donnie got the instant skull in front of Logarius. That attack is pretty unfortunate. It's avoidable if you're like extremely attentive and dodge immediately. If you're in the middle of an attack or if you're regaining stamina, there's no way to dodge it. You have to just be ready. Some of the attacks that I'm not a huge fan of. But here we go. Peanuts finished his run up. Fairly clean run. Mikolash caused a few issues, but other than that, the run was very, very clean. And we got a 118.30. Good job, Peanut. And that just shows you how much time Mikalash loses because that section is so massive. Donnie's making his way back to Logarius. You can grab the elevator there, and it does save a little bit of time. But he elected not to. Not a huge deal. The elevator's just to his left, like in this room with the long tables. Oh, these guys are also aggroed now. Oh, I hope he kills that guy with the dart gun. He sometimes that dude with the dart gun can like shoot you 100 times as you're on the ladder, and then you just fall off because you have no stamina. Peanut has this stream open. Oh, that's Donnie's audio. Uh-oh. Did I do something wrong? Donnie's spying on us. I'm fine, okay. And we're heading into Logarius. The Fog Gate fight is actually different. So, and even if you quit out, before Logarius, fans of Dark Souls 1 will know that boss fights are different, or some boss fights can be different if you quit out too close to the arena. And Logarius actually starts attacking very, very quickly if you are too close to the arena when you quit out. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. He's not having it today. Oh no. Okay. that was uh that was a little concerning, but got it done. Sliver of health, dead. Okay. We took down Logarius. Headed into the Gehrman and Moon Presence fight. The home stretch. Very good race. It was very close all the way. Frank or Z again for the second time. For the 2nd time. That's kind of unfortunate. So that's one of the attacks that Gehrman has where he has hyper armor. And if you're caught doing an attack while he starts that one, you're pretty much dead. Here we go again. Getting the I think he was a little too close for the backstab there. Basically the strat for Gehrman is just getting 2 parries and then he transforms. And then or he doesn't transform, sorry. He tricks his weapon. Then once you get him down to half HP, he kind of transforms into Super Saiyan God Goku and turns blue. And at that point, you can get a backstab off. 1 hit, you got it. There you go. Very nice. Nice fight. Moon Presence now. The most disappointing secret boss of any video game. Moon Presence is fairly easy. I think the issue is that Moon Presence just has very small amount of health. Like, she dies extremely quickly. Good roll there. Just 2 more hits here. And we finished. Very nice. GG Donnie, GG Peanut. You never know, because Donnie had a lot of extra load screens, so this could be closer than we think. Because they both died in very similar spots. So let's kind of see what's going on here. Yeah, that's a lot closer than we initially thought, because Peanut finished much more than 2.5 minutes earlier. But good job, guys. Very nice race. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You guys got any closing remarks you want to say?
Woo! Wow, Wiga.
I'm not surprised by
Bro,
that.
I swear this game hates me. Like, what was that Ludwig opener? I've never seen
That
that.
was the
That was
super
the
secret Canadian
Oh,
opener.
okay. Gotcha. No problem.
That just means you got the
I-
105 around the corner then, right?
Yeah.
I just wanted to finish the run, honestly, dude. This is a lot of pressure, but it was a lot of fun. GG
Yeah,
Peanut. That was
Yeah,
Good
GG,
outing.
man. Yeah, I think we both had more than our fair share of memes.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like Miko, like, was being a heck. I mean,
Mensis was
I got
rough.
slammed on the elevator ride back up.
I saw that.
I was like, what? So then I had one less. Was down a pellet, and then I go do early woods and all this, and then after I died somewhere else, and I ended up buying a bunch of pellets, and I couldn't get the blood rock. I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
So then I'm like trying to scramble, like, before DLC, end up going to do Ludwig with a +9 and like 59 insight. And I actually had to go up into the research hall to get over 60 and then come
Yeah.
back. But like, yeah, that was just wow. I've never had that many gestures in my life.
Other than Mensis, that was a super clean run, which shows you how much time you actually lost in Mensis, like both of you guys.
Oh
I
gosh,
feel
yeah.
like if I
It was
didn't
pretty
die
crazy.
to Ligarius, it would have been way closer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, it would have been pretty much
I
neck
think
and neck.
you would have won, I think, if you didn't die to
He
Logarius.
just, dude, he was. Everything was weird in this, and Gehrman did an extra phase 1 attack.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
he does that sometimes, and it's like, yikes.
Yeah, but I'm happy that I finished the run. Good orphan, like 2 lightnings.
Yeah.
Dude.
It was a very good race, though. It was really
Yeah.
close all the way. It was very entertaining.
You got to see on the fly routing and just people trying to overcome this game that hates us. So
Yeah, for
I
sure.
hope everybody enjoyed it.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks everyone for watching.
Thanks, guys.
As far as like
GG.
next races, I think we might have one tomorrow. It's might get switched. We got but we might be having one tomorrow. If not, then we will be having the next match on the 3rd, which is Monday at 8:30 a.m. EST. That one's confirmed for sure. But we might have one again at the same time as this one tomorrow. But that's still up in the air. So I'd say keep your eyes out and peeled.
Sounds
And
good.
thank you, Hattie, for commentating.
Thank you
Thanks,
guys for
Hattie.
running.
Appreciate you, man.
But
No
yeah.
worries. Had an awesome time. And I think we're gonna kick it over to GTA Marathon. So hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll catch you guys later.